Title: Shadow of the Past. Chapter 1: The Old Attic. Emily had never planned to sort through the attic of her late grandmother's cottage in the English countryside. She had come down from London for just a few days to handle some paperwork after the funeral. But an unexpected storm forced her to stay. Out of boredom, she decided to explore the attic. It smelled of dust and old timber, the floorboards creaked, and the air was thick with forgotten memories. Among the boxes and cobweb-covered trunks, one battered leather suitcase caught her attention. Its handle was peeling, and the locks were rusted. Inside, letters, photographs, yellowed postcards, and a diary. Red cover, neat handwriting. Emily's breath caught. It was her mother's diary. Chapter 2: Words That Shouldn't Exist. Her mother, Catherine, had died when Emily was just 10. Her father, Richard, had always been strict, distant, a man who never spoke of the past. And now, 15 years later, Emily was reading words that shattered everything she thought she knew. He said he had to disappear. I couldn't stop him. I knew Richard wasn't his real name, and he wasn't the father of my daughter. Her real father is Alexander. I stayed silent, because it was safer for us both. Emily froze. Her breath hitched. Richard, not her real father? Her true father, Alexander? And he had vanished? Why? Who was he? Where did he go? Chapter 3: First Clues. Emily couldn't think of anything else. Returning to London, she dove into the rest of the diary. Catherine had written about meeting Alexander in the late 80s, secret rendezvous, anxiety, strange men watching them. One passage struck a chord. He said his past could destroy us. That if he ever vanished, I should burn everything. I couldn't. Emily began digging through public records. She found a brief mention of an Alexander Prescott, a researcher at a government science institute in Oxford in 1987. Then nothing. Officially, he had moved abroad. But no passport record. No forwarding address. Disappeared. Chapter 4: Shadows at the Institute. She visited the now decommissioned Research Institute, a crumbling building on the city's outskirts. The caretaker, an elderly man named George, finally spoke after much persuasion. Prescott? Yes, I remember him. Brilliant mind. He was into something big, secretive. Then one day gone. A week later. Fire in his lab. Nothing left. Catherine came by often. She cried. Chapter 5: Truth on Tape. In one of the suitcase's boxes, Emily found a VHS tape. At a friend's house she played it. Her mother, young and laughing. Then a man. Tall, kind eyes. Alexander. At the end of the tape he looked into the camera. If you're watching this, I didn't make it back. Don't look for me. It's dangerous. But if you must, find someone named James. Only he knows. Chapter 6: James. After a week of searching, she found James Holloway, a retired biochemist living alone in Wales. At first he refused to speak. But when Emily showed him a photo of Catherine, he broke down. We never knew what Alexander was truly working on. There were rumors, genetics, military contracts. Then he came to me and said, "If I disappear, protect Catherine and our daughter." I failed. I was scared. People vanished without reason back then. Chapter 7. The Truth. James revealed that Alexander had uncovered illegal human experimentation. He tried to expose it. They silenced him. He fled, faked the lab fire, changed identity. But even then he had to vanish again. James thought he was dead. Until I got this letter last year. No name but the handwriting. Unmistakably his. He's alive. Chapter 8. The Meeting. The letter led Emily to the Scottish Highlands, a remote village near the coast. She searched for days before finding the right cottage. An old man answered. He stared at her for a long time, eyes filled with disbelief. Then looked away. "You shouldn't have come." Emily trembled. "Are you Alexander?" "Yes." "I'm sorry." Chapter 9. The Last Conversation. They spoke through the night. He told her about his years in hiding, about the threats, the regrets, the love he carried for Catherine and for the daughter he never met. "I couldn't bring this danger to your life. I loved you both too much. But I'm here now." He held her close. "The first and maybe last time. You have to leave. Please. Forget me." Chapter 10. Emptiness. The next morning, Emily woke to an empty house. On the table a note. "You are strong. Live. Don't search anymore." She returned to London, filled with pain, but also a strange peace. The truth was hers now. It hurt, but it was real. She promised herself she would not search again. But every morning, she would check the post. Epilogue. 2 years later, on a gray autumn evening, she received a plain envelope. Inside a photograph. Mountains. A woman holding a child. On the back. "As long as you live, I live in you." Emily smiled through tears. Somewhere out there, he was alive. And that was enough. Chapter 11. The Second Letter. A week after the mysterious photo arrived, Emily received another envelope. This time it contained coordinates and a single sentence. "Someone still watches." Her hands trembled. Who sent it? Alexander? Or someone else? Chapter 12. The Stranger. Emily visited the coordinates, a field on the edge of Norfolk. There, a man approached her. Young, clean-cut, and calm. "You're being followed," he said. They never stopped. Chapter 13. Silent Echoes. She returned home, and found her flat ransacked. Nothing taken, but everything disturbed. Someone was sending a message. A warning. She called no one. Just sat in the dark, clutching the diary. Chapter 14. The Safe House. James sent her a burner phone and an address. Go. Now. The house was deep in Yorkshire moorland. There, she found notes left by Alexander, stashed away in the floorboards. Diagrams. Names. Secrets. Chapter 15. The List. One name repeated again and again. Dr. Evelyn Shaw. Emily tracked her down, a recluse, living under an alias in Cornwall. Evelyn had once worked with Alexander. She'd vanished too. Chapter 16. Shaw's Story. Evelyn explained the project, a military bioengineering program to create rapid healing soldiers. We thought it was science, but it became horror. Alexander tried to stop it. Evelyn helped him disappear. Chapter 17. Inside the System. With Evelyn's help, Emily hacked into an old server still hosting fragments of project data. She downloaded evidence, classified files, genetic data, surveillance logs. Her hands shook. It was real. Chapter 18. A Name in the Dark. One name was circled repeatedly in the files: General Huxley, the orchestrator. Still active. Still hunting. Emily was now a threat. Chapter 19. The Assassin. She was attacked on her way back to London. A stranger pulled her from the road just in time. He said nothing, only gave her a note. Run. Chapter 20. Ghost Network. James connected her with a network of former whistleblowers and agents, people off the grid. They gave her resources, shelter, and one demand: finish what Alexander started. Chapter 21. The Voice. Late one night, the burner phone rang. A voice low and cracked. Emily, forgive me. It was Alexander. He was still alive. Still running. Chapter 22. A Plan for Truth. With Evelyn and the network's help, Emily prepared to leak the files. But she had to do it smart. Not just to reveal the truth, but to survive it. Chapter 23. The Archive. They found a hidden Cold War archive under a barn in Suffolk. Alexander's original research, more complete than anything yet. Proof of the project's victims. Chapter 24. Sacrifice. Evelyn was caught. Taken. Emily received her final message. Don't let them erase me. Chapter 25. The Broadcast. Emily broke into a media server and released the files to every major global outlet. Within hours, it was everywhere. The truth, undeniable. Chapter 26. Hunted. She went underground. Changed her name. Her face appeared on news reports. Hero to some, traitor to others. Chapter 27. The Legacy. Victims' families reached out. Survivors came forward. Protests erupted. An official inquiry was launched. General Huxley, forced to resign. Chapter 28. Silence and Ashes. James died mysteriously. Quel accident. No witnesses. Emily grieved in silence. She knew it wasn't an accident. Chapter 29. The Final Letter. 1 year later, a letter arrived. No return address. Inside. You've done enough. I'm proud of you. Signed. Chapter 30. Dawn. Emily stood on a hill overlooking the sea. The morning light touched her face. Somewhere in the world, Alexander lived in shadows. But Emily, she lived in the light. And that was how it had to be. Chapter 31. A New Name. Emily now lived under the alias Claire Bennett. a forged ID, a rented cottage in the Welsh Hills, a job at a quiet bookshop. She spent her days arranging second-hand novels, and her nights watching shadows shift outside her window. Though the world thought the truth had been revealed, Emily knew it was only the surface. The network warned her. Remnants of the program still lingered in secret corners of government and private labs. Huxley was just one head of the Hydra, someone told her. Emily didn't care about fame. She wanted safety. And for a moment, she thought she had it. Chapter 32. The Marked Envelope. One rainy evening, she found an envelope in her postbox. No stamp, no address. Just her old name, Emily Prescott. Inside, a single photo. A man in a hospital gown. His eyes glazed. His arms marked with chemical burns. On the back, Swanwick Institute. They're starting again. The name haunted her. Swanwick had been mentioned in Alexander's files, an experimental facility decommissioned in 1999. Or so she thought. Chapter 33. Return to London. Emily reached out to the Ghost Network. A contact named Leon met her in a cafe near Charing Cross. Swanwick never shut down. It went private. Owned by a biotech startup now. Quiet, untraceable. But the experiments, they're not just continuing, they've evolved. Leon gave her a burner phone, encrypted access to a remote server, and coordinates. If you go there, don't go alone. Chapter 34. The Break-In. Under the cover of darkness, Emily and two former agents, Mia and Andre, infiltrated the Swanwick grounds. The facility was hidden beneath a defunct mental hospital. What they found beneath the surface chilled them. Labs still active, patients under sedation, some with inhuman signs, regenerative tissue, erratic heart rates, eyes that didn't blink. Files were scattered. Video logs. Failed subjects. Test results. Emily copied as much as she could. But alarms went off. They fled, barely escaping through a disused service tunnel. Chapter 35. Unseen War. Back at a safe house in Bristol, Emily watched the footage. Some of the test subjects had been missing civilians, homeless, orphans, political dissidents. The experiments were no longer about healing. They were about control. She wept that night, not just for the victims, but for the realization that exposing Huxley hadn't dismantled the machine. It had merely paused it. Now it had learned how to hide better. Chapter 36. Alexander's Return. 2 weeks later he appeared. On her doorstep. Gaunt. Eyes older than she remembered. "They've gone too far," he said. "I thought I could vanish forever. But I have to finish this." They spoke all night, like that first time in the Highlands. Only now he wasn't running. He wanted to fight. Emily wasn't a child anymore. She was ready. Chapter 37. Mothers and Daughters. Emily visited her mother's grave in Sussex for the first time in years. Alexander stood behind her in silence. "She protected us both," Emily whispered. "We owe her everything." He placed a small red flower on the headstone. She saved my soul. Chapter 38. Building a Case. Emily, Alexander, Mia, and Andre assembled a digital war room. They mapped connections, tracked money flows, exposed silent partners. Names emerged. Biotech CEOs, retired generals, even MPs. But one stood out, Minister Helen Caulfield. A war hero. A public face of reform. But behind the scenes, she funded Swanwick. And she was planning a new phase. Chapter 39. The Decoy Project. Caulfield's public initiative was a nationwide mental health program for veterans. In truth, it was a recruitment pipeline. Veterans were unknowingly enrolled in therapy that involved cognitive testing and drug trials. Emily decided to go undercover. Chapter 40. Inside the program. As Claire Bennett, Emily entered the program at a facility in Yorkshire. What she saw was polished, soft lighting, friendly staff, wellness slogans. But at night, she noticed strange details. Security cameras inside bedrooms. Random blood tests. Her therapist asked probing questions unrelated to trauma. She found a hidden corridor, and with it, a locked room filled with medical equipment and a chair with leather restraints. Chapter 41. The Uprising. One of the veterans, Marcus, confided in her. He felt like he was losing time, waking up with no memory of certain days. Emily dug deeper and discovered he'd been dosed with a memory-erasing compound. She helped him escape. They exposed the program to the press. Caulfield denied everything, but it caused unrest, and more survivors stepped forward. Chapter 42. Betrayal. Someone in the network betrayed them. Andre disappeared. Mia was arrested. Alexander narrowly escaped a trap. Emily confronted Leon and found out he'd been compromised, blackmailed by threats to his family. "Forgive me," he said before disappearing into the wind. Chapter 43. Gathering Storm. Emily was alone again. But now, she had allies she never expected. Journalists, rogue intelligence agents, even former patients. They wanted justice. She decided to go public. Not through leaks, but in person. Chapter 44. The Interview. She appeared on a live BBC broadcast. Revealed her identity. Named Caulfield. Described the experiments. It caused a media firestorm. Parliament launched a special commission. But it also put a target on her back. Chapter 45. The Price of Truth. 2 days later, her cottage was burned to the ground. Emily barely escaped. She realized there would be no safe life. Not now. Not ever. Chapter 46. The Final File. Alexander handed her a drive. This is everything. Every name. Every experiment. I held it back to protect you. But now you need it. Inside was proof of a planned rollout. Drug trials in primary schools, genetic testing in prisons. The program was expanding fast. Chapter 47. Taking them down. With the help of international human rights groups, Emily orchestrated a mass release of documents. From Geneva to Washington, people were forced to reckon with what had happened. Arrests followed. Trials began. Caulfield vanished. Chapter 48. The Reunion. Months later, Alexander was offered immunity in exchange for testimony. Emily watched him speak in front of the inquiry, voice steady, eyes full of ghosts. Afterward, they walked along the Thames. "Do you think we won?" she asked. "We stopped this. But truth is like fire. It spreads or it dies. You have to keep feeding it." Chapter 49. A Letter from the Past. Emily received a letter, decades old, lost in the postal system, now miraculously delivered. It was from Catherine. "If you ever read this, it means you're strong enough. The world is cruel, but never let it make you cruel. Love will always be your weapon." She cried for hours. Chapter 50. The Future. Emily now ran a foundation that supported survivors of experimental abuse. Quietly, without press. She never used her real name. She didn't need to. Alexander lived on a farm in the Highlands. They spoke rarely, but when they did, it was with peace. She stood once more by the sea, and as the sun rose she whispered, "Mum, we did it." And somewhere across the wind, she thought she heard, "I know."